Web development is the work involved in creating a website. It can be a simple single page of plain text, or it can be a complex web application like an online store or a social network. Think about the websites you visit every day. A news site, a video sharing platform, a simple blog. All of these are created by web developers. They use special languages to tell the computer what to show on the screen and how it should work. This process is a mix of creativity and technical skill. It is about building the digital places where we spend so much of our time. Programming languages are sets of instructions that we give to computers. Computers do not understand human languages English, Spanish. They understand a language made up of ones, zeros, which is called machine code. Writing in machine code is very difficult and time-consuming for people, so we invented programming languages. These languages are closer to human language, which makes them easier for us to write and understand. A special program called a compiler or an interpreter then translates our code into the machine code. HTML stands for HyperText Markup Language. It is the standard language used to create web pages. It is the fundamental building block of the web. Every website you visit is built using HTML. It provides the basic structure for the content on a page. Header, navigation, main content, footer. Think of it as the skeleton of a human body. It gives everything a framework and holds it all together. HTML is not a programming language, it is a markup language. It uses tags to mark up parts of a document, like headings, paragraphs, images, links. We write HTML using elements. An element usually consists of a start tag, some content, and an end tag. For example, to create a paragraph, use example paragraph. It organizes content into a logical hierarchy for readability and accessibility. CSS stands for Cascading Style Sheets. If HTML is the skeleton of a web page, then CSS is the clothing and appearance. It is the language we use to style an HTML document. CSS describes how HTML elements should be displayed on the screen. It controls the colors, fonts, spacing, layout, and many other visual aspects. Without CSS, the web would be a very plain and boring place. CSS is what makes websites beautiful and engaging. CSS works by selecting HTML elements and applying style rules to them. You can select elements by their tag name, by a class name, or by a unique ID. For example, you could write a CSS rule that says all heading elements should be blue and have a specific font. Or you could create a special class called highlight and apply it to certain paragraphs to give them a yellow background. This separation of style from structure is a core principle of modern web development. Section 5. Making pages interactive, JavaScript. JavaScript is the programming language of the web. HTML provides the structure. CSS handles the style. JavaScript makes a website interactive and dynamic. It allows you to create and control content that moves, changes, and responds to user actions without needing to reload the page. Think about features like interactive maps, animated graphics, photo slideshows, autocomplete suggestions in a search bar. All of these are powered by JavaScript. It breathes life into a static web page, turning it into a rich, responsive application that feels more like a desktop program. JavaScript code is run directly in the user's web browser. This is what we call a client-side language. When you visit a website that uses JavaScript, the code is downloaded along with the HTML and CSS. Your browser then executes this code, enabling all the interactive features. For example, when you click a like button on a social media post, JavaScript can update the like count instantly without reloading the entire page. Behind the scenes, the backend, also known as the server side, is the part of a website that you never really see. It's actually the engine that powers the front end. While the front end runs in your browser, the backend operates on a powerful computer called a server. The backend takes care of all the complex logic data management security that a website needs. It's really the behind-the-scenes machinery that makes everything work. Whenever you log into a website, search for a product, save a document, you're interacting with the backend. It processes your requests and sends back the right information to the front end. The backend is made up of three main components. Server, the computer that receives requests from your browser. Application, the code written in a back-end programming language. Database, where all the website's data is stored. Imagine ordering a book from an online store. You click the buy button. Back-end development, it requires a different set of languages than the front end. These are server-side languages that run on the web server, not in your browser. Three of the most popular and influential back-end languages are Python, PHP, Ruby. They handle things like processing data from forms, interacting with databases, managing user sessions, serving up the HTML files, serving up the CSS files, serving up the JavaScript files. Python is a general-purpose programming language known for its clear and readable syntax. Now let's see how all these languages work together to create a complete website. It's kind of like a team where each member has a specific role. The process starts when you type a website address into your browser and press enter. Your browser sends a request to a remote computer, the web server. This is where backend languages come into play: Python, PHP, Ruby. The server runs the backend code, which processes your request. This might mean retrieving data from a database, like the latest blog posts. Once the backend has gathered all the necessary info, it builds a response. Choosing your first language can feel pretty overwhelming, but honestly, it's simpler than it seems. Start with the front-end trio: HTML, CSS, JavaScript. They're not optional. Every web developer needs them. Begin with HTML to get a feel for the structure of web pages. Then, move on to CSS to learn how to style them. Once you're comfortable creating static pages, dive into JavaScript to make them interactive. This path gives you a solid foundation. After you've got a good grasp of the front end, you can start thinking about a back-end language. There are countless resources out there to help you start your journey. The key is to be consistent.